Here we go. Hello, this is Sam Welker from thinkparticle.com, and this is an introduction to a plugin called TurbulenceFD, a great plugin that can be found on jawset.com, and it's able to be used in Cinema 4D. There's also a plugin for Lightwave, and there's also a plugin for After Effects, and it's a great plugin. I have ripped the plugin settings onto my interface right here. This interface is available for download on the blog post on my website at thinkparticle.com. You can also get it in the project settings, or the project files, sorry, available for download as well. So really quick, we're gonna grab some geometry, like a plane, and let's grab a sphere too, and move it up, and we're gonna get you introduced to TurbulenceFD. So the radius is gonna get set to 50, and then we're gonna create a TFD container. Let's create the container, make it I'd say 400 by 400 by 400, and then move it up, hold shift, drag it up 200 centimeters. Okay, and let's grab that sphere and put it in the center by pulling it up another 50 centimeters. So really quick, we have our scene set up already. Hit C after selecting both of those to make them editable. It's not mandatory, just helps out. Command drag the tag we've just created under here, the TurbulenceFD tag, onto the plane, and what we're going to have now is an obstacle, and we're going to change these settings here. Just follow along if you can. If I'm going too fast, just keep pausing. I'll go into detail in a moment, but I want to show you really quick. This is something it can do. So let's simulate. This is going to rise up smoke, and looks like it's going to take a little bit. Let's stop actually. Go into the TurbulenceFD container settings and change it to 15, the voxel size. You don't have to worry about what that means yet. I will get there. Just hold on, and you're going to see right now. Last thing, we need to hit stop again and go into the temperature settings and change this to 2500. Oh, 2500. And then under the plane settings, the force under the third or second column under directional force, we'll put that at 300. And that's going to put it at a very fast setting, but it will work. So we're going to have the smoke go up and collide with the sphere. So it's going so slowly, but it's going. Simulation takes a while, but it's caching right now, and it's going to save this cache so it will play back smoothly later, or somewhat smoothly. It still takes a while to play back sometimes. But as you can see, it's kind of creating this big puff of smoke right here, and then kind of going in right there. That's just kind of how smoke acts, and it's looking pretty good already. And as you will see in a moment, the sphere is actually acting as an obstacle, and it will push more smoke out. As you can see right there, smoke's actually getting stopped by the sphere. So that's one thing you can do with this. Basically fluid simulations with obstacles interacting rigidly. You can have turbulence and such interacting with it, and then after it's done, you can use this viewport render that comes with this stuff to preview it. But when you actually render this stuff, it just kind of looks good. So that's all just fire right there. Let's actually go into TurbulenceFD settings and add a rendering channel density. Okay. And change that to, say, 45. Woo! 445. Ha! Way too much. Don't know if any of you understand that. Let's stop this. I have more than enough to show you. Okay, let's preview this. There's the smoke. That's really heavy on the fire, really low resolution. So let's go to the TurbulenceFD settings and go in, and there's other things we can do, like under subgrid detail we can change to settings like 2, 2, 2, and 16. and just take all of these by holding shift and selecting them, hit copy, go under the fire shader, and do the same thing right there by selecting all of them and hitting paste. Really fast, easy way to get that done. So let's look at this with a viewport render right here, and it'll look a little better. We can add a light. We can drag that out while holding shift, say 250 centimeters out and 200 centimeters out. By the way, I do work in centimeters because I do like working on a scale of 10 using the metric system, but I do not like working with meters because they are way too large in some cases with the stuff I do. So centimeters is my preferred choice. Work with what you'd like, but I'm working by centimeters. We're gonna add this light. We're gonna add a bit of an orange tint to it and a fall off, and we're gonna make that fall off 750, and let's make that 1000. By the way, guys, I do have the flu, or I'm just getting over it or something, and if I sound sick or whiny, that's why. I'm not complaining or anything. I don't feel too hot. Anyways, here we go. Let's hit render and see what that looks like. And I am excited to see this. It's gonna look good. I'm just kidding, guys. This is gonna look absolutely terrible on like 20 different levels. You have no idea how awful this is gonna look, especially with that light right there. I mean, but it's an introduction to how it works. So as you can see, this noise right here, this is a little bit of how the voxels are shaped, but this is also that noise setting we did in the subgrid detail. Holy crap, that looks awful right there. So anyways, that's where your smoke is at right now, and the light is way over illuminating it. And if we set that to 15 and then go down into the smoke shader and turn illumination on and set it to fast low quality and multiple scattering, and maybe set the illumination resolution to 75%, just so it'll render a little quicker. There we go. Alright, 7.5 minutes in, and we have this fantastic big block of fire, and it makes no sense, and it looks really bad. But you know how to emit fire already, you know how to collide objects with it, and you basically have had a decent introduction to TurbulenceFD. I mean, you can see right there that if we hit render real quick, you'll see this fire around you in the sphere, and it's a really, really low resolution fire, but you'll see the sphere. In fact, it's more of a solid than a kind of a more of a cylindrical. I'm not even gonna try that. It's more of a solid fluid than a air-based fluid in this case. So, okay, we're actually gonna stop that render. But anyways, now that you've had your introduction to that, let's go setting by setting, slowly and painfully through. Just kidding. We're gonna make this really easy for you guys. We're gonna hit this button right here and make a container, and then we're gonna make a sphere, and then we're gonna make that sphere maybe 25 diameter, the radius, so 50 centimeters in diameter. So, and then we're gonna right click and add a TurbulenceFD tag, and you know what? You hit the simulate button, and then you're done. It's that simple. And then you can hit render, and then you have fire, and you can turn the sphere off so no one has to see it, and then you have a fireball, and then you can go in here and do something like change the settings, and then you can do simulation with vorticity and turbulence and make it like 6 in the turbulence and 8 in the vorticity, and then you can hit simulate again, and then you can stop it after about 3 frames, and then hit render, just to kind of see where it's going. Let it finish, save it, then hit render, and see that you have this beautiful fireball. This fireball loves you, because you love it. Let's add some density to that, it'll add some smoke. And that smoke looks putridly awful, so let's make a really black smoke. Or better yet, let's make this glowing white smoke. And you know what? That looks awful. Awfully awful. Amazingly awful. But it is a fluid simulation. And basically what you're going to have to learn to do is check these settings and create stuff by tampering all these settings. So let's look at this real quick and say, hey, we have a sphere. We want to make the smoke go up, and we want to make it a little wispy so it's realistic, and add some turbulence so it's a little more realistic as well. We want it to go up pretty fast, so it'll be pretty buoyant. There's some jargon for you, some keywords. Buoyancy right here. So let's start with the buoyancy. Let's make it 1,000. Now, to make it a little wispier, we have our vorticity. We've put it at 8 and the turbulence at 6. Let's change that turbulence to 12. Now we have the wispiness and the turbulence. Let's change our wind direction from 1 on the x-axis. Let's change that to 1 on the y-axis. Then the wind speed, let's put that at let's actually have a wind blowing down at it. So negative 75. Nope, I've got to do that right here. Negative 1 and then 75. Okay. Velocity, we don't have to worry about this, but I'll tell you real quick, dampen velocity, it'll slow it down as it goes out. So it's kind of like friction, but it's the air causing friction. So you know, if you fall over while you're running on the street, you just roll around for a second and get caught on it, and then you get all scraped up. Doesn't feel good, right? Well, if you run on ice and then fall, you just kind of keep sliding. There's less friction to stop you, less friction to slow you down. Dampening will slow you down. The higher it is, the more scrapes and bruises you're gonna get on that concrete and asphalt. But the lower it is, the icier it is, and the smoother it is, and the more pills there are at the ending. You know, I'm just kidding about all that stuff. It's really just simple. Of the more dampening you have, yeah. Anyways, the simulation itself will simulate under the timescale that you have set currently. So if I have 90 frames, then it will automatically put it at 90. But if I only want to simulate 45 frames, you can do that. So let's set it to 90 again and have it just do all frames. The timescale is 100. Let's put that at like 200. Just kidding. We're gonna keep that at 100. But if you want the smoke to simulate twice as fast, you can do 200. Or if you want it to simulate really slow, you can do like 10% for a slow motion flame. Alright, and that is the first part of the tutorial. I have to go. My dogs are barking. I will be right back.